Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I present to you a queen representing the state of Massachusetts. Michelle Fermin is an expert real estate agent with Century 21 Northeast and North Andover, Massachusetts, and the nearby area, providing home buyers and sellers with professional, responsive, and attentive real estate services. Want an agent who will really listen to what you want in a home? Need an agent who knows how to effectively market your home so it sells? Give her a call. She's eager to help you and would love to talk to you. She runs a team that ranks top 5 out of 100 of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. You can get in touch with Michelle at 978-423-6545 or mfermin at c21ne.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Michelle. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, how are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Hope you're having your best day ever.
Yes, thank you. I don't know if ever, but definitely a good day.
All right, that's great to hear. Hey, Michelle, honor for you to share your time with me today. Can you share with the public what year you got into real estate?
Well, let's think about this. So it was back in 1997. I know, it's a long time ago. So almost 3 decades in it.
Well, you don't know how fast time goes until you get there.
That's right. It goes very quickly. So I've been blessed to have, 20 some years in this business of chaos and fun times and interesting times and desperate times. And I've seen a lot of change.
No, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you saw the dot-com bubble. I don't know if that affected you, but I'm sure 08, 09 did. Can you walk us a little through that?
Oh, for sure. So when I started, I was Rookie of the Year the first year. And it started kind of as a joke. My mom said that she wanted to buy a house. And I said, don't worry, I'll go get my real estate licenses if I could just go down to the local, store and pick it up. Went, got my license. And my mom had a lot of challenges, right? Because we were financially challenged. My mom had limited English, limited education. And I kind of became her, her go-to person. So I went, got licensed, and when I did, she became my first sale. And then her best friend said, well, if you helped your mom, then you could help me. And it just became, this effect where all of her friends wanted to buy. And I was the only one that they knew of, one, that spoke the language, and two, that they can trust. So that's how that happened. And then as years went on, 3 years into it, I was offered my own brokerage. I brought that brokerage to number 1 in New England the very first year, which was amazing. And then 2008 came, and it was like, okay, things are changing. It's changing very quickly. And we saw a mass exodus of people leave, right? As we already know. But I decided to stay behind and reinvent myself and just put my business back together. And I went back to the basics, and I went back to what had worked for me before, and I revamped myself and came back stronger.
No, kudos to you. And how did you grow a team to be ranked so top tier so fast?
So 2017, so I was a solo agent for many, many years. After that, the market crashed in 2008. I revamped myself, and I went into the short sale side of RE and the REO side, even though I knew nothing about it, but I positioned myself so that I could be that go-to person. And I went from, on the verge of bankruptcy, hiding my car, having to sell all my properties, to selling over 100 homes a year. And I peaked at 165 homes or some crazy number like that as a solo agent in 1 year. And I wasn't getting it I didn't have any lead source. It was just all past client referral. And in 2017, my assistant said, well, you either start a team or I'm out, because we had no life, right? We were just always working. So 2018, I started a team, and it was 4 of us. We were the number 1 Century 21 team in the state the first year. Then the next year, we were number 1 in the country. And then in 2020, our CEO, Mike Meadler, who is the CEO of Century 21 Brands in the whole world, called and said, congratulations, you're the number 1 team in the world. And that was amazing, right?
Spectacular.
Yeah. So from that point, and that was in 2020, we continued to grow, but very strategically and very analytically, and kind of focused on what our needs were. How do we continue to grow in a way that fits our culture, yet allows us to serve our community? And that's what we did. And we continued that through today.
Dude, that's super impressive. I guess the REOs just led to more doors being open, and you just got to pick more niches. Or you work now with like, does your team work with first time home buyers, investors, or
Yeah, so we're primarily residential. I would say in a perfect world, it would be mostly listings, but we are in a housing crisis in the state of Massachusetts. Our inventory is very, very low. So we're about 60% buyers, 40% sellers, but because of default, right? Because there isn't any properties to sell. It's very, very difficult. Um, but a lot of investors, first-time homeowners, people that are looking to build wealth through real estate. So we come up with plans for them of, okay, we're going to get you into a 3 or 4, and then in a couple of years, move up into a 2, a single, then start doing the 1031 exchanges and building growth through the ways that our country allows us to do. And there's many steps that we can utilize to build that growth.
wow, you really, yeah, you're building, you're really helping clients build generational wealth over time, I would say. And like in 2025, what's the most misunderstood thing you think about real estate for the public?
Well, I think that that's a really vast question, right? I think that the biggest mistake would be that people seem to think that the market's going to depreciate, although there are no signs of that. Every single, all the signs that we see, all the studies that we see, all of the professionals and these major companies are all telling us the same thing, and we're seeing the data. Properties continue to increase. Do we expect them to continue to increase the way that they have been? I don't. I do think that there'll be some kind of adjustment because last year and the year before we were seeing double-digit increases. So for property to increase 10, 11, 12% a year is not sustainable. But when we get back to the normal range of 5 and 6%, we're hoping that maybe some inventory will loosen up. But yeah, I think the biggest misconception is I'm just going to wait here and I'm going to wait for either prices to drop or interest rates to drop. And as we know, that's just, there's no indication of that.
No, there truly is not. And the government's so creative. They can always create a program to keep the economy going. For instance, the pandemic, they created PPPs and then small business loans, and that really kept the company afloat. And is there any other misconceptions you think the general public has about real estate aside from that?
Well, especially in the Hispanic community, I think that a lot of us have the misconception of, oh, I'm going to buy back in my native country. Like I'm Dominican. And I've heard so many people say, well, I'm going to buy in Dominican Republic first. And, I scratch my head. I'm thinking, you've been living here for 20 years. You're paying rent here. And if you do just very basic math, and you say, you know what, a house that, let's say if you're paying $2,000 a month in rent, which here is a very fair rent. Our rents range anywhere from $2,000 to $3,500 in our area, but $2,000 a month, you're talking $24,000 a year that you're literally paying towards someone else's mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you're also talking about the loss of the appreciation that you would have had. We've had 10% appreciation here the last few years. If you're buying a $500,000 house, that same house is going to cost you $50,000 more. So now you've lost out on $50,000 of that appreciation, plus the $24,000 that you paid someone else's mortgage. Excuse me, it's a $74,000 loss of your total net worth. So for me, I think one of the biggest misconceptions that us as Latinos have is, oh, I'm going to just wait. I'm going to buy something in my homeland, when you're not really thinking about the big picture and doing the math. Now, I don't have a calculator with me, but 74,000 over 5 years, that's 300 some $1,000. So by you remaining in your rental for 5 years, you're talking 300 and some $1,000 in difference in your net worth. That is a massive amount of money. I don't care who you are. That is a massive amount of money. So when you really start thinking about compound effect and the loss of income and loss of net worth by making silly decisions like continuing to stay a renter is, I think, a huge issue that we've had. And not only that, I mean, here in the state of Massachusetts, we have so many programs that are available all throughout the country, really, where people can get grant money, forgivable loans, low interest programs, that it makes it a lot easier to be able to get into an investment property or a multifamily, right? That's going to help us not only pay our mortgage, but in a lot of cases help us build that generational wealth.
No, truly. Truly, Michelle, you're really a macro thinker. I would say most bars are very micro, so they don't really think out 5 or 10 years ahead. So the fact that you're painting that picture on the canvas for them, like you truly are doing your part. And if you could change one thing about the industry, what would it be and why?
If I could change one thing, actually, I would probably make it harder for real estate agents to get into the business.
Really?
I would. I would. I find that, yeah, the course is simple. The test could be challenging, but I don't feel that there's enough regulations in there, that there's enough policing of what a lot of the agents do. And there's so many agents out there that have such basic understanding of real estate, not enough education or experience. Um, and they're out there helping people navigate through one of the biggest purchases of their life when essentially they don't have a clue. So I think that there should be some kind of um, apprenticeship, I guess I would say, right? Like you'd have to be under someone else for the first 10 transactions, whatever it may be. But I've seen so many people just make such big mistakes where they've put their clients' earnest money deposit at risk or have lost their earnest money deposit just for lack of experience. So I would say that's one of the biggest things. I don't think that 40 hours is enough. I really think that, it should be more challenging and it should be more difficult to be able to practice, right? Because this is a career that we have. This is an amazing opportunity, but for us to be able to practice on our own and being able to represent our clients, unless we truly understand, what the consequences are and how we can really serve our clients and community.
No, not truly. I think you're not the first last person to say that. But yeah, I think like hair people have to go through more rigorous process to become like a salon person than a real estate agent, which is kind of shocking. And then, but if hypothetically, if someone wanted to join you, like, what do you look for? What do you look into to hire somebody to bring somebody on board? And how do they see traction within 2 to 3 months? You think, like, because usually what we do take plays out 3 months from now.
Well, with us, it's a little bit different. I think most real estate companies, brokerages, teams, they say, okay, you're breathing, you have a license, come join us. And that's the furthest thing from the truth from us. We actually do have a 3-step interview process. That first one, it starts with a discovery call with me. And we have a conversation of what are your goals and, are you full-time or not? I ask the questions of, do you have savings? Because I'm sorry, you're going to be broke the first 6 months to a year. So I ask those questions. What does your family dynamic look like? You have small children, wonderful. How is this going to come into play? I want to make sure that we're putting you in a situation where you can succeed, right? And a lot of people don't think about that. 89% of people fail the first 5 years. So 9 out of 10 people will fail. So if you're interviewing with me, I ask you, one, what makes you different? What makes you different, right? I actually do role playing with you, and we go through, hey, in this scenario, what would you do? I also tell you, we're a very coaching heavy team. It's not for everyone. So if you're someone who is not interested in learning or experiencing more, or really just into that coaching mentality, we're not for you. I've been in the business almost 30 years. I'm always looking for a good coach. I'm always looking for someone to teach me the next ways. I'm always looking for someone to help me. And if that's not in your personality, I'm sorry, we're not for you. We're all about accountability and keeping score. Not that we're a competitive team against each other. We're a very collaborative team, but we are also about keeping score. That means we have standards.
I was going to say standards.
Yeah. And most don't. Most real estate companies, you go in and they hand you a book and they say, here you go do your thing. Let us know when you have something under contract. That's not us. And I think that is very eye-opening for a lot of people. I had a girl call me this morning and she said, I'm a new agent, I'm going to take my test. Will you reimburse me for the test once I join? I said, no, I won't. And she said, well, so-and-so will. That's awesome. No, we won't. And as a matter of fact, to get into our team, you have to go through a 90-day internship where you don't get paid. and you actually have to pay a subscription fee. You'll get it back once you close, but it takes a lot of time, money, effort, and investment on our side. So the answer is no. There's a 90% chance you're going to fail. Prove to me that you're that 10% that's going to pass. And most people will say, ah. And that's great because I've just weeded out the people that weren't going to just waste my time.
No, wow. So yeah, so you're the first gatekeeper. That's hilarious. And who's the second? Who's the third? Can you just walk me through that?
They're called the mean girls. The mean girls. So we have three of our executive staff, including our business development manager, including our COO. Then we'll have one of the international team members, and then we'll have an agent come in, a senior agent, and they'll interview you, and they'll say, what value do you bring to our team? How are you going to show up differently? Why should we hire you and not the 5 other people? What's different? And again, we'll try to scare you. We really will. We cold call on Wednesdays. We door knock on this day. We have coaching on this and this and this day. You're showing up. You have to show your numbers. We listen to your recordings. How do you feel about constructive criticism? Most people think, well, you micromanage. No, it's not that we micromanage.
That's part of your system and structure.
That's right. Yesterday was the Super Bowl, right? I'm not a football player, but yesterday was a Super Bowl. Think about the practice that those people had to actually endure, right? And the videos that they would watch of how they were playing and how they screwed up and how they won. And wait a minute, you know what? You turned right here when you should have turned left, and you did this way. Maybe if you did it this way. That's what they do. They don't just show up on game day like, yep, we're here. We know what we're doing. Don't worry. They've practiced every single way along this game, along this season. That's what we do. We practice every single day. We practice with one another. We listen to our calls. We talk about what we could have done differently. Otherwise, how do you win?
No, you definitely have to have some type of game plan. Nothing is random. You're clearly proving that you clearly have your blueprint or your formula of how your outputs to your inputs to your outputs. And the fact that when you that first call, you're just reverse engineering everything, you definitely are elite, I would say.
Thank you.
Are you implementing AI yet, or are you thinking about?
We are. We've been implementing AI for 2 years. We do everything. It goes in through our website. So the moment that you come in and you say, "Hey, I'm interested in 123 Banana Street," our Raya is her name. She immediately starts talking to you, and she says, "Hey, Joe Blow, I see you're interested in 123 Banana Street." She asks the questions that we want. We have a script that we have set up, including keywords that we're looking for, key questions. And then once it's been activated, someone starts conversing, it'll notify us. It'll notify one of our international agents, which will then assign it to an agent who will call within 5 minutes. So once you start conversing with our AI, we'll jump into that live call within 5 minutes.
Dang, speed to lead. That is.
Yeah, we've been doing that for 2 years.
Not good for you. You're onto something. Are you going to be uploading AI in any other ways, you think, or is that you think that's enough?
So we're playing with the idea of social media, and we do have our marketing team is based out of Lebanon, and a lot of the things that she's been doing has been through AI images and videos, and I like it, but I'm also one of those people that if I see things are too fake, it turns me off. I still really believe I want to see real life people doing real life things, right? So we use AI in our marketing to a certain level. We also use AI for scripts. Our junior team and even our senior team, we role play with AI through 2 of the portals that we use, and we use it on a daily basis. We go back and listen and get scored, and our AI will tell us, hey, this is what you could have done differently, so that you could have a higher conversion. So we do look at it in a number of ways and utilize it on a daily basis. Could we be using it more? I'm sure that we can, but it's changing so quickly. For us, we're being very cautious. We did have AI that was integrated into phone calls, and I did not like it. I don't know how many times you've gotten a call that says, "Hey, this is so and so," and it's AI. It's so annoying to me. It's right, an
Yeah, everyone
immediate
want to
click.
hang up.
Yeah, I don't like the voice AI. I do like what we have integrated into our back end of our websites. I do like that. I do like that we use it for limited versions of our marketing. But it's something that we've been utilizing for a couple of years now, and we're slowly pushing forward in other sections.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. And I'm sure. I think this year or like midsummer last year, they started implementing that like buyer agreement. How did you pivot then? Did that affect you at all, or is that
Yeah.
something?
That
No.
didn't affect us at all. When I was in my peak of my business, right when I had mentioned I was, selling 150 plus homes a year, that was something that was already implemented into my business. I would have a conversation with you face to face. I'd want to meet you. We'd go over what your goals were, what the marketing plan was, a strategic plan for what's happening, and we talk about what's happening in the market, and I would go over my buyer agency agreement with you and what my expectations of you as my client was, and what your expectation of me as your agent was, and we would have a signed agreement. So no, nothing's really changed. This is something that's been around forever. I just think that for a lot of the newer agents, they might have struggled a little bit, or even a lot, right? Trying to identify their value and vocalize that to a consumer. I think that a lot of them, and this is why we saw such a mass exodus again this year, because a lot of them didn't know how to vocalize that, and had struggled with it, right? Especially when you're competing against a seasoned agent like myself.
No, you're totally right. Yeah, because yeah, you know the game that they're still learning it. So you obviously have an upper hand on that. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, is there what's a story that's a memorable story of yours, like a success or failure that really sticks with you even till this day?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. There's so many. I mean, again, for me, in 2020, when Mike Meadler called us and said, "Hey, you're number one in the world," that was massive because we were 10 agents, but only 9 were selling. One of them was transitioning out, uh, and that was amazing for us. It ended up being over 40 transactions per agent, which in a market where most 51% of agents do no transactions at all. And then another like 20 do 0 to 2, whatever, 1 to 2 transactions a year. But to be able to say, hey, our agents, our agent production was over 40 transactions an agent was big. And then we were blessed again last year to be number one in the country, and for the first time for both AGC and units, meaning for commission and units. We had never experienced that, and this is the first time I've ever seen, a team get it. But I'm blessed because 90% of us are Hispanic on our team. So, yeah, yeah, 90% of us are Hispanic. Almost all of us, I think 96 to 97% speak at least 2 languages. I have a few agents that are trilingual and one that speaks 4 languages. So we really focus on being a diverse.
That's wicked though. You run a very tight ship because usually it's like those mega teams that have like 100 agents doing what you're doing. So like that really speaks volumes to me, to be honest with you. And like everyone's just following your playbook, right? Almost from when you first started with our like back then during like the REO days.
I'm so sorry. What was the question?
I guess like everyone's just following like your foundation or your blueprint, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that they're following my blueprint. I'm saying that we're growing that together and we're, building that together as we see fit. We have our meetings every Monday. It's a meeting for our team. We truly understand that this is a team. There's no I. This is not my team. They're the ones out there. I'm simply, here. I'm not going to say managing. I'm going to say observing and coming up with some ideas and, hey, what do we think? And when we decide that we're going to implement these things, I'm helping keep them accountable and helping. I'm the one that's looking for systems and structure in those, right? But it definitely is, a team here. We vote to bring people into the team. We vote in, when we're going to implement new things. We vote in just about every aspect of it. We're looking for a new coach, and they're going to be the ones that decide, because they're the ones that are going to be, you know, um, practicing with this person. So we very much make it a team playing field.
Oh, good for you. You're like the orchestra. You're always fine tuning.
That's the perfect word. I'm the orchestrator.
And
Yes, I identify new talent, right? And then I help implement or orchestrate some of those new SOPs, and we focus on what's next for the team. We're very innovative, which is I think is amazing. Like you talked about AI, we implemented that 2 years ago.
no.
And when everyone else was just kind of scratching their head, we're like, yep, we're in. Even Google, when everyone else started thinking about, hey, maybe I should, start really thinking about my Google exposure, we dominated it. And, now we're on to the next things. So I think that's been a really important aspect of our team.
Nice. Yeah. Speaking of, like, you're already focusing like how people are like, because I think the new thing is the voice thing, where like find or using AI, like finding an agent by me. So you're already like seeing how you can pop up with voices or AI. Then I'm assuming.
We haven't really looked into that. So for me, like I said, the whole voice thing has been just strange for me, and we really focused on AI with our marketing. We've really focused on AI, for re-engagement within our database. That's been really big. So AI is consistently, again, we call Haraya. She's in the back end trying to see who we can re-engage and start having those conversations. Once those conversations become live, we turn her off and move on to a real person.
Nice. And what do you think is the key to maintaining a work-life balance in real estate, or do you even consider? Do you think there isn't?
I think that I'm probably the wrong person to ask that question. I'm a true workaholic. So for me, I really enjoy work. I heard someone say something like, this is not work for me. This is who I am. This is on TV, on a movie I was watching yesterday. And that really resonated because for me, I don't see this as work. I see this as growth. I see this as entertaining. I love to build other leaders. I love, to see those accomplishments. I love to see those new mountains, being climbed. So I don't see that as work. So for me, that's a tough question to ask me, right? Because I work 100 hours a week, but that's who I am.
Not at all, Michelle. I love it. Trust me, you're like a purebred entrepreneur. I feel like, and the cool thing is, like, either we love what we do or we love who we work with, and you get to do both. So like you really get to live that lifestyle brand, I would say.
Yes. So I feel blessed that I've been given that opportunity.
Kudos to you. Power to you, I would say. And what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your work when it's all said and done?
What legacy?
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because that's become like the question nowadays, right? Well, what legacy do you want to leave to your children? What legacy do you want to?
Because you've seen so much success. You like, I'm sure like you could retire now if you wanted. I'm guessing.
Well, it's so funny that you say that. This morning, I said to my daughter, my youngest, she's like, "Mom, her boyfriend just got this brand new $100,000 car." I was like, "So what? I drive a 7-year-old car, and I am perfectly happy with that." And I said I can retire today off of my investments. For me, what I want to leave behind is, number one, what you have as far as materialistic things mean nothing. And the more, like, as you get older, you just realize it's none of that means anything. None of it. For me, it's when someone says, "Hey, you know what? You changed my life," or "You gave me an opportunity. Hey, I remember you at this event or this speaking engagement, and I really resonated with what you said, and it motivated me." That's what makes me happy. And what I want to leave behind is the day that I die, that people come and say, "You know what? She was a good person. She wasn't a gatekeeper. She was always really, truly trying to help." So I want to be known as that person that just was truly there because I wanted to, and I wanted to see success. And if I end up, being successful through it, then let it be. But that's what I hope my legacy is.
No, I'm sure you'll find that fulfillment. Like, I'm sure you will. You're truly building leaders, and you're helping people build generational wealth. Like, what's not to like? How you're making a better community. And do you think there's like one piece of advice you wish you had received early in your career that think could have changed your whole trajectory or like career? Or
Oh my God, there's so many.
Really?
Number one, I wish that I would have gotten a coach right from the beginning. I was very cocky. I thought, well, I'm rookie of the year. I know what I'm doing. You know nothing. You know nothing. Still today, I have three coaches. I
Oh,
look for coaching all the time. Whenever I see someone that I look up to, I ask them the questions, what are you doing? Who are you coaching with? Tell me about your life. I want to emulate that. I want that experience. I want that education. So I'm going to say number one is find a coach. And if you can't afford a coach, find an accountability group that really speaks to you and holds you accountable. Those are the people, that you want to push to, right? You want to get closer to. So always look for growth. And the other thing that I would say is I remember way at the beginning when I started getting a lot of success, people would say, well, don't tell anybody what you're doing, keep everything a secret. And you start seeing everyone as competition. And that was a huge mistake. I really started seeing massive growth when instead of competing, I started collaborating, with people. And I hold courses on where I show people exactly my playbook. This is how I built it. This is what to do. This is what to pay people. This is how you bring people in. And I've had people say, well, aren't you afraid they're going to steal your business? No, I'm not afraid they're going to steal my business. This is if you take one of my clients, it's because that client wasn't meant to be with me anyways. I truly feel that it just opens up more and more opportunities. So those would be the two things. Look for coaching and look to collaborate with others, not don't look at people as competition.
oh, yeah, like that. You have the abundance mindset. Even though you have amassed so much success, you're still trying to find ways to optimize, which
Absolutely.
it really like shows that like, you truly just want to keep optimizing, and yeah. And then so before real estate, do you do anything entrepreneurial, or is this your first entrepreneurial job?
So we actually just opened up I own two other companies. Actually, yeah, two other companies, and then we launched a title company last year. So I own a title company, which I'm partners with some really great people that I love. I own a virtual assistant company. I've owned that for about 5 years, where we place our virtual assistants from all over the world with teams and individuals and help them find professionals to help them leverage up their business. And then 9 months ago, I had this idea of like, hey, I want to be able to build courses so that I can teach things, within the real estate community to others, not coaching, but courses. So we launched that a month ago. It's www.michellefermin.com. And I'm really excited about it. It's a partnership that I have with one of the girls. She's my COO, and then my daughter. So it's phenomenal. My daughter just finished her first course. It was a 30-day Google course on everything Google, how we rank number one, how we were able to dominate it. And it's basically a playbook. So we're doing that, with other aspects of real estate now. And that's a big venture that I'm excited that we're a part of.
Oh, good for you. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, yeah.
Proving that ball into your daughter.
Thank you.
And switching gears a little bit, like if you could have dinner with anybody, like who would it be and why?
Tony Robbins. I love him. He's such an inspiration. I love his energy. I love his entrepreneurial, just the way he thinks about everything. And more importantly, how to give back. That generosity aspect is very important to me. How can we make ourselves better? How can we make the world better? What is our purpose? I would I would love to meet him.
No, truly, yeah. Tony has impacted so many lives, and it's great. Yeah, he does have some stories. He does have some stories that really like just are moving, I would say.
Yeah, but think about somebody like that who, they start off with, hey, my goal was to feed a billion people, and I fed a billion people. So now my goal, is to really make an impact in human trafficking. It's not my goal is to drive, to have a private plane. It's my goal is to make an impact on humanity, right? That's what all our goals should be, is to make an impact on humanity. So for me, I see him as someone that's incredible, and I see him as somebody that I want my life to be like. How do I make an impact in my community and humanity?
No, so yeah, no, you're like a master. Yeah, you're like a master of your own work, your own
Mhm.
thing. Because like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like 95% of people are like still trying to chase their first million. So like they're so focused on that, like they don't realize that it's like a materialistic thing. It's so materialistic that it could be a thousand.
Mhm.
almost
Mm-hmm.
chasing money when really, like if you're actually thinking about the good or whatnot, what's to come, then yeah, the money should follow. And
That's right.
mm, and then yeah, I think we covered almost everything. Like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
So I see myself more in management, less and less. I should say management of upper level, right? So building out our executive team and really focusing on them, uh, working with our sales team, and then working on other businesses outside of just real estate sales. We're talking insurance, we're talking development, a number of things outside that are still within our range. But how do we expand and be able to build wealth for our team and the people that are in our team, while still building wealth for our communities and educating?
Nice, nice. And then your clientele, is it mostly Hispanic, or is it a mixture of
Yeah, we
both?
have a mix of people. I think we have 30 agents now. We service between Boston and the Manchester, New Hampshire area. Definitely when we're here in the Lawrence, Mass area, that's primarily Hispanic. But a lot of investors, a lot of move up buyers, luxury buyers. But if I had to take a guess, I'd probably say 60% of them are Hispanic.
Dang, yeah, good for you. Good for you.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
yeah, you're open to Hispanic people. I want to say, I forget. I think it's like 2030, 2030, 2035. Like the majority of the homeowners in America will just be Latino, which is
That's right. I saw that same stat. That's
yeah, right.
amazing.
Yeah, right. Like it's coming. So I'm glad you did your part. And yeah. And then, is there any books or podcasts or articles that you think had a significant impact on your life work? I know you've done coaching, but is there any like books or podcasts?
Well, right now I'm reading for the third time The Four Disciplines of Execution. And I think that it's not an easy read, but it's such an amazing read because it helps you focus on what's really important, right, in our everyday life when it comes to work and even anything else. The 12-week work year is amazing as well, but I'm more about systems. So that's the type of thing that I like to focus on. I don't like to read. I shouldn't say I don't like to read. I don't have the attention span to read. I love a good audible. So I make it a point to listen to an hour a day. And by doing that, you really can get through some books very quickly. But I mostly focus on self help books, strategizing, team leadership, type of thing.
Nah, good for you. Yeah, the execution. That's literally like the key word. Like,
Four disciplines of execution for sure.
yeah, like
Have you
most.
had an opportunity?
No, I have not. But I was gonna say, like, most people want to, like, most people have the idea, but they never execute. And the fact that you're reading that for the fourth time just goes to show that you really want to, like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, you truly want to execute. You truly want to manifest everything that's in your mind.
Yeah.
Um,
What
so
about you? What's your favorite book?
my favorite book, probably How to Win People and Influence People. I also like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
That's a good one. I made my kids read that when they were little.
Yeah, my other favorite books right here. Actually, I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett.
Ah, okay.
I'm actually, I like Warren Buffett a lot. And
Good.
then, yeah, Michelle, this was a really good talk. I don't think I have any more questions for you, to be honest with you.
Thank you. Thank you. The other book that you should probably also listen to is The Miracle Morning, right? I'm a member of the 5 a.m. club. I think it makes a massive difference. So that's more of a lifestyle. So if you haven't read it, there's support groups and everything for it. And it really is just based on getting up at 5 and really being intentional with your time.
No, super. And then, like, I'm guessing you already have like your schedule pre-made, like on Sundays, right? Like, where you have like you try to set up your whole daily regimen.
I do. If I don't, I will become very anxious and kind of wander around like a lost puppy. I need to be able to set, times for myself. So, even when if it's gym time, it's scheduled in there as, create a powerful body. And that's what my gym time is. And if it's time that I need to work on getting new leads, it's create a powerful lifestyle. I try to make it into a positive format so that when I look at it, it's not like, oh, I have to cold call, or I have to go to the gym. So for lunch it says nourish your body. That's my lunch hour. It's time to nourish my body.
Nice. I like the way I like your perspective on life.
Hmm.
You have a perspective I feel like you should definitely share with more people, because
Thank you.
most people don't think like you, but they should.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I really appreciate this. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully, you guys got some kind of value out of it. I'm constantly sharing all of my ideas and stuff through my Insta, and my Insta is just my first and last name. So I'd love to see some more followers.
Yeah, of course, Michelle. I'll definitely put some light on you, and hopefully
Okay.
hopefully you'll get some views and some followers. And yeah, if you weren't in real estate, like what other pathway would you have liked to go on?
I would have been a doctor for sure.
Really?
Mm. That was I thought that was going to be my life trajectory, but hey, God knows what His plan was, and I'm here. But it
No,
would have if it would have things would have been different. I would have been a doctor.
no, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah. I think anything you set your mind to, you would have achieved and gone great lengths above what you even wanted. You seem like that type.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, of course, Michelle. Honor and pleasure sharing this time with you. Ladies and gentlemen, you just listened to a queen from Massachusetts, Michelle Fermin. Get in touch with her if you want to buy, sell, or learn real estate. Michelle, thank you again for your time.
Appreciate you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. You can stay on 1 minute.
Okay.